This is a National Diaper Bank Network Minute.
Diaper banks frequently get started when some dynamic and driven person decides to do something to make sure that every baby in their community has the essentials they need to thrive. 15 years into the National Diaper Bank Network's life, and in the middle of a wave of baby boomers contemplating retirement, many of these organizations find themselves searching for new leadership. NDBN is there to assist diaper banks navigating these changes. This is the second time that NDBN has helped Vic Velivis chart his retirement.
So I was about 2 years away from retiring from my career. I'd spent a little over 40 years in the computer industry. And so I was looking around for something to do to keep me busy. And my idea was actually a hot dog cart. And I'd actually purchased the hot dog cart. It sat in my garage for 10, almost 11 years. But I had purchased the hot dog cart, and that's what I was going to do for my retirement. And then a local nursery came on asking for diapers. They came on the TV in the morning saying, "We're all out of diapers. We need diapers. We can't take any clients on. Our clients don't have diapers. We don't." And so I started buying diapers.
Soon after, Vic happened to hear NDBN CEO Joanne Goldblum interviewed on National Public Radio. He realized that diaper insecurity was a widespread problem that nonprofits were springing up around the country to address. That changed Vic's retirement plans.
Joanne made me aware of the diaper bank movement. And so I thought a little bit about it, and that was probably better than a hot dog cart. So I called a couple friends, and I have I say I'm in the computer industry, but I have a very varied background. So I have the skill set that lets me form a corporation, apply for the nonprofit, do all of that. So I called a couple friends, they said yes, and we were off and running with the Utah Diaper Bank.
Now, were there any diaper banks in Utah when you started?
No, there were none. There were no diaper banks in Utah. We actually started it out of my house. It ran out of my house for close to the first 4 or 5 years. We were actually shipping 20,000 diapers a month out of my house.
In 2025, the Utah Diaper Bank distributed 2.8 million diapers in the community, still without a full-time employee. The diaper bank has now been acquired by the Utah Food Bank, which had long been a distribution partner. The food bank has the cash flow to hire a paid person to run the diaper bank, something that Vic knew was essential to make the work sustainable. And the food bank has joined NDBN, which represents a commitment to advocacy to meet diaper need.
So over the years, they became aware of us and of what we were doing. And when they broached it at the meeting, they said, we really admire what you do. And you're filling a gap that really needs to be filled. You've raised awareness in the community. It's made a huge difference in the community with our clients. And that's why we'd like to actually take it over and continue to build, not only sustain it, but continue to build it over the years. And so they do plan to build it, and I think they will.
Vic Velivis did something that is hard for an organizational founder. He let go. Joanne Goldblum explains.
Vic saw the diaper bank as a community resource and did not see it as a reflection of himself. He saw it as a way to get people what they need. And he was able to look at what is the best way for this to continue. And I think that that's hard.
NDBN offers members a number of resources to make that difficult milestone a bit easier.
So, there are a few different ways. Primarily, we really find that while there are lots of similarities, there are lots of differences in this process. So one is, we offer a board source membership to every single member. There's so much on the board source website that talks about succession planning. It has succession planning, lots of templates. ways to think about it, ways to talk with your board about it. So that's a really important thing. We have a good deal on our member portal about it. And also, we provide individual TA for our members working on this as it progresses. You know, the other thing that we do is connect members who are going through this at the same time.
Diaper bankers from coast to coast get to know each other through work groups, an annual conference, and more. They often act as supports to each other as they take on the unique and demanding role of running a basic needs bank. Vic began his second retirement with a road trip up the Pacific coast where he stopped in at diaper banks along the way. But one diaper bank he won't be visiting anytime soon is the one that he started.
The truth of the matter is, your interview is the first thing I've done since I handed it over. Okay, I've had lunch with the gentleman that they hired. I've had some contact as I give them money and I give them checks and I do that, but I have not steered them in any direction. I have not gone back and said, why aren't you doing this? It was difficult, but it's the way it has to be, I believe. They have to do it that way.
What's the typical, or is there a typical relationship between the ED who steps down and the organization? Is a clean break? Is it I'm going to be half time for the next year and mentor the new ED? Is it?
So it's a really, really good and really difficult question. You know, best practices are that there's a pretty clean break. Or that has always been the best practices, you know, that you need to give the new ED the chance to stand on their own and make their own mark. And one thing we know is that if the founder is there, say still on the board or coming to staff meetings, people are going to defer to the founder.
Yeah.
That's just the reality, you know, for a founder who's sort of well liked and well respected, right? That's the reality, is that people are still going to listen to that person. Now, that doesn't mean that a founder can't continue to be involved in one way or another. One way that I have read about that some people have seen as successful is that the ED, or the outgoing founder, would maintain a relationship with the newly hired person, but not with the organization.
Founders tend to have stellar reputations, as does Vic. But he said in handing the diaper bank over to the food bank, he was entrusting it to an organization with a higher profile and more resources than the diaper bank itself.
I was pretty well known in the community for doing diapers over the last, 10 to 12 years. So
You were well known in the community for doing this good work, which brings me to founders can be very attached to an organization. It can be very hard for them to step away. I'm not hearing that from you. Or have you already worked through it?
well, hence the road trip, I should say, to find a new purpose and a new meaning. Yeah, it was difficult.
His departure is difficult for everyone in the diaper bank community who worked with him, including Joanne Goldblum.
I am so grateful for what I've learned from Vic across the board, both about basic needs banking, about succession planning, and general humanity. He's a really, really good man, and we've been incredibly lucky to have had him in our orbit for so long.
To learn more about people like Vic Velivis who are helping babies thrive, or to find out how you can support that essential work, visit nationaldiaperbanknetwork.org.